Hello friends, welcome back. My name's Ramon. How are you today? In today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic. Kylie Skin launched a sunscreen. You heard that correctly. Kylie the Jenner launched her skincare line like a year and a half ago, which caused a little bit of commotion in the skincare game, just because they're like, what business does she have starting a skincare line? And then at launch, we were like, what business did she have starting a skincare line? But in retrospect, like looking at the line and what it consists of and who her demographic is, it's a pretty like well-rounded, semi-approachable skincare line. The formulations aren't game-changing, they're not innovative, but it is good for what her fan base is, which is like 12 to 16-year-olds, right? Basically, the formulations weren't crazy. They were just like generally very approachable skincare items. You had a cleanser, you had a toner. We're not talking about that scrub. You had a moisturizer, vitamin C serum. But what was missing was a sunscreen. And here we are a year and a half or so later, and she finally launches a sunscreen. And I saw the initial ads and I was like, why does it look so familiar?
Did that sound familiar to you? Because that sounds really familiar to me.
And then like the claims started coming in and I was like, why does that sound so familiar? And then I see the application and I was like, I know that girl. You wanna know who that girl is? It's literally this. This is the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. I just remember looking at the ads and the packaging. I'm like, oh, it looks like one of those like small, like, I know that girl. And then I saw the application. I was like, why does that look so like silicone-y, primery? The ads talking about broad spectrum SPF 40, the different extracts. And I was like, that's literally the ingredients list. And then I pulled it up. So whenever I talk about ingredient formulations on my channel, and mind you, as a biochemistry student, someone who's starting a cosmetic sciences program this coming fall, what I look for in skincare and what I look at skincare as is in terms of formulation, ingredients, that kind of stuff. I use the website Inky Decoder to kind of break down some ingredients lists and look up ingredients I don't necessarily know or I'm not familiar with. And literally with some mixing up a little bit, the exact same ingredient list down to the extracts. I'm gonna put them up on screen just as I talk about it, but the Kylie Skin website talks about the extracts and the ingredients, the formulation, and the vehicle the sunscreen comes in. She really touts it being a no white cast, sheer, moisturizing, makeup priming sunscreen that has antioxidants and other skin benefits. First and foremost, it's a organic, aka chemical sunscreen. So it is going to be sheer, it's going to be clear, it's going to be very cosmetically elegant in that regards, but we'll get to that in a second. Key features on the Kylie Skin website are Meadow Foam Estelide, which if you go to the Supergoop sunscreen, Meadow Foam Estelide, literally there. Shea butter, it's right in the middle of the ingredient list for the Supergoop sunscreen as well. I'm gonna put it on screen, I can't pronounce it, which is a seaweed extract or an algae extract. The Supergoop doesn't have this exact same extract, but it does have a Lithothamnion calcareum extract, which is, I guess, another form of an algae when I googled it. It's got vitamin E, which is an antioxidant also known as tocopherol. It's an antioxidant that kind of helps to kind of reinforce some of that UV protection, mainly UVB, but antioxidants also offer free radical protection. So these are actually good ingredients to have in sunscreens. I'm not shading Kylie for that. These are good ingredients, but they also exist in the Supergoop sunscreen. If I look at the actual ingredient list, like expand it more, it's the same exact sunscreen filters. The percents might vary by like 1 or 2%. They both have the jojoba. The one thing that Kylie has that the Supergoop doesn't is at the end of the ingredient list, it has a kiwi seed oil. At most, that kiwi seed oil might just add like a little bit of boost of an antioxidant benefit to it, but there's not much on that ingredient, period. But I was like, okay, so we have the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen dupe. But basically breaking that down, I remember when Kylie's makeup line launched, everyone was like, these are ColourPop's formulations. These are produced in ColourPop's like facilities and whatnot. And so this comes out and it's like, this is exactly the Supergoop sunscreen. Initially, and then coming off of it is like, this is like this big controversy. That happens a lot actually. And Leah Yu has talked about this on her Instagram. I believe she might have talked about it on YouTube. A lot of times you can go to a manufacturer who has a kind of set formulation and you can kind of purchase that formulation. You may have them like change up a few things, but they kind of have like a base formulation they might use and deviate from that a little bit brand by brand, but you're basically getting the same exact sunscreen. That's not a problem. That's not new. It's not necessarily a controversial thing. It costs a lot of money to really innovate sunscreens, do a lot with sunscreen formulation. So it's kind of a cost saving measure, right? And I'm going to be honest, it's Kylie Skin. I'm not expecting like her to like make some groundbreaking technology, but the vehicle in itself is just kind of like a very straightforward dimethicone heavy primer. Therefore, it's going to be great for makeup. The filters themselves, so you have avobenzone, homosalate, octosalates, octocrylene. Avobenzone's the UVA protectant in that sunscreen. Everything else is kind of UVB. SPF 40, it's okay. Avobenzone being the UVA filter, again, you're gonna get pretty substantial UVA coverage, albeit not the most photostable. And you only get 50 ml of product. And the tea with this is the Kylie Skin sunscreen in itself was 50 ml for $28. Plus shipping and taxes ended up coming out to about $39, $40. So you're paying $40 for 50 ml of sunscreen, which is expensive. If you could get this in store, it technically is a cost-effective dupe for the Supergoop Unseen sunscreen. The fact that Kylie launched a sunscreen in itself, I'm actually happy with. The influence that she has on kids, the fact that she's even recommending a sunscreen is kind of good. And she says, you know, use every day. That's one of the things where like in the advertising, I'm like, oh, it's actually really good. But then my usual issue with these sunscreen things is that they never really recommend an exact amount. And even in the ads, which I'll put on screen, the homegirl's putting on, kind of like the Biosons, a very, very sheer layer. And my issue with these sunscreen filters is, and why I'm making this video, basically when you see a number on a packaging that designates UV protection, there's specific testing, there's specific metrics put in place for you to get this number. In order for you to get this SPF protection and UVA protection from a sunscreen that's on a packaging, you need to put about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon on your face, your ears, and your neck. Don't forget your ears and your neck, I'm telling you that right now. But when you're showing models putting on such a small amount and you never really reinforce reapplication on a sunscreen, it's kind of your A, it's a waste of money, B, you're not really teaching the proper methods, and C, any sunscreen's better than no sunscreen, but it's not doing the most good for the people. And then when you charge so much money for such a small amount, you really aren't encouraging reapplication, you aren't encouraging proper sunscreen usage, so it's kind of like, oh, well, what's the point? And that being a silicone texture, I mean, honestly, I specifically bought this sunscreen just for this video. We ordered the Kylie Skin sunscreen so that I can do a dupe video, but I never actually used this. I've never actually touched this. So like literally using it for the first time. But what my feel for this is it's going to be just a silicone primer. Yeah, just a very silicone-y texture to it. My fear with this kind of texture, especially if you're using this on top of the entire Kylie Skin line, and especially if you're using the right amount of it, is it's going to create a very slippy, slidey layer on top of everything else underneath your makeup in the height of summer, which isn't my preferred texture. I don't necessarily feel like this is going to be super moisturizing texture for most skin types, especially if you're dry, so you are going to want to layer up the hydrators and the moisturizer underneath it. If you were, ew, even like touching my phone screen, I got like a freaking handprint on it. If you were to use the right amount of this, I don't think it'd be the most cosmetically elegant texture either, so that's going to be another thing to factor into the whole situation. So I ordered it. I'm excited to try it just to see it, but it's literally going to be a dupe of this. So if you like this and you want something a little bit more cost effective, I mean, Kylie Skin brought it to you, I guess. That being said, it's way too expensive for a non-innovative vehicle. The UV filters are not the girl for me, but I always talk about that. It's not going to be anything that's amazing. The UV filters in this are not the most photostable necessarily. If you're looking for sunscreens that are moisturizing, offer even better, more photo effective, more photostable filters, Korean sunscreens are where it's at. Japanese sunscreens are where it's at. I talk incessantly about the Preto sunscreens, the Biore Watery Essence, Claire's UV Silky Soft, whatever that's called. Even this, I'm testing more Japanese sunscreens on my channel. This is the Hado Labo UV Gel. This is an amazing texture for oily skin. Way better filters, super moisturizing, amazing bases for makeup. You get a lot more bang for your buck. Kylie sunscreen, $28 for 50 ml. This, $20 for 90 ml. You get almost double. You have a lot better options out there. If you're a Kylie stan and this will get you to wear a sunscreen, do so. Hopefully, what I'm hoping for is that this is just a great gateway into trying more sunscreen, but Kylie didn't do anything new. She didn't do anything innovative. If you're buying it, make sure you're putting on enough so you get the proper protection, but in reality, you got a lot better options. Check out my other sunscreen content for those options. When I get the sunscreen, I will try it out. I will do a side-by-side. I will test it like I do all sunscreens on my channel, but just know Kylie didn't reinvent the wheel. And with that, thanks for watching, guys. Did you order the Kylie sunscreen? Are you excited to try it? What do you think about it? What were your thoughts when she announced it? Let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see me actually do a side-by-side test with the Kylie Skin SPF and the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen, because they're basically twins as of what I'm seeing right now. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. And again, go check out my other sunscreen content. My channel is essentially at this point devoted entirely to sunscreen education and information and recommendations. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a good day, and yeah.